like to call this Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order for Monday, February 24th. First, we'd like to start with a roll call. Commissioner Bates.
Present.
Commissioner Bowen.
Present.
Commissioner Horvath.
Present.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Present.
And I'm present, Commissioner Kim. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we will be adding 2 items. First, we will add election of chair and vice chair, and then we do have a special recognition as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, well then, if we're going to do that now, is that where you want to do it, right now after the roll call?
Yeah.
All right, then. I assume we're taking nominations then for chair first?
For
Is
chair
that what we're doing? Okay, for those of you who don't know, we are moving to North Carolina. We just got back today from signing on a house. We've had some personal tragedy in our family, and so this is a result of that. So we are moving to North Carolina. Sorry. Oh. So I can no longer serve as chair. So,
Okay, ma'am.
any nominations for chair?
Sir, Madam, I nominate this gentleman right here,
Commissioner Bates?
Mr. Bates.
I nominate Commissioner Bates.
Are you willing, Mr. Commissioner Bates?
Yes.
All
I'll
right.
do it.
Then if you're willing, any other nominations?
Sounds good by me.
All right. Then we'll take a vote. Commissioner Ramirez?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner West? Aye.
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 Yeah. You are now the chair. You can come sit right here.
Well,
Yeah, you are officially
we're not
the
gonna
chair
let you
now,
finish this
so-
one
No,
today?
you're the chair now.
Well, had I known that,
Good thing you got the packet, yeah.
things might have been different. I believe when the batter hits the ball right at the pitcher, it doesn't, you can't duck.
Let me change your names real quick.
Are you gonna move over? Well, didn't know I'd have to take over today.
Very unexpected.
All right, so the second item today would be to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Wish they have a nominees for vice chair.
Vice chair.
Oh, well, then let's do that. Are there any nominations for vice chair? I think one of you gentlemen was the vice chair this last time. I nominate you again. I thought you did a good job.
Okay. I second it.
Well, I'm all for that, but I don't know your name.
Daniel Bowling.
Daniel Bolt. All right. Any other nominations? All right. For vice chair, Daniel Bowling, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have a vice chair.
Yay.
Next item of business will be to approve the minutes.
We have our special recognition,
We have a special
which was the second
recognition.
add-on item for tonight. And for that, we would like to especially recognize Kathy Kim for her service with the Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. This is my first time meeting you, so unfortunately, we did not get to work together much, but Michelle said you've been great to have on both boards and commissions, and that you're always very well researched on these applications and really know what's going on. And I see here that you've been on the Board of Zoning Appeals and City Planning Commission for 10 years, it looks like.
Really?
It says November 2015 to February 2025,
Oh, my.
so, or at least on one or the other.
For BZA, because I know you were here before Julie started.
Yeah, BZA was
Right.
November 15 to 25, and City
Man.
Planning Commission
wow.
22 to 25.
Wow.
So we would like to congratulate you and thank you for your service.
Quite welcome. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you all.
Can you block that up there, please? And we'll give you your official certificate. And
Now, we will take approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Is there a motion to, or are there any changes Does anyone thinks need to be made? Sir, I didn't see any changes, and with that in mind, I would like to offer a motion that we approve the minutes as written. Any second?
Second?
Care to start voting on that side?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. There's no old business. One item of new business.
We do. So tonight we have before you an application for a variance for fence height located at 601 Topeka Avenue. 601 Topeka Avenue is a property approximately 1.8 acres in size and is residentially developed with a single-family home and one accessory structure. The applicant was approved for a building permit to build a wood picket fence up to 6 feet in height in this location in the summer of 2024. Upon completion of the construction, staff noticed that certain portions of the fence did exceed the allowable 6-foot height, which is what was permitted, but is also the maximum allowable height in the development regulations. So the applicant is now seeking a variance to allow the fence to remain at the existing height, which is a maximum of 7 feet and 3 inches. We did provide public notice and did not receive any comments for that. And then the applicant has also provided their responses to the criteria for approving a variance, and that is there in your packet as well. The applicant is also here if you have any specific questions for them. You can see on the screen, this is an overview of the property. The fence runs from the front plane of the house northward, so it screens the rear and side yard. And then we do have some photos of the fence as it's existing right now. Let me get to those. So this is the existing fence. As you can see here where it meets the house, it is less than 6 feet, but as it extends, which would be northward towards the creek, where the elevation of the yard starts to change, it follows that elevation, which keeping it straight at the top makes it vary in height. So the applicant just provided some measurement for us there. And then you can kind of see the difference in height here.
May we ask you questions as you're presenting?
Do we need to open up the public comment portion first?
At the end of the policy report, then he can ask for
Yeah.
questions about the staff report.
Yeah, so that is the end of my policy report if you want to ask some questions.
Well, I was just curious what the measurements were. I mean, I see his hand here, but the measure is up above, and when he was out further at the other end, I thought he measured up to the top of that little structure.
It needs to
right,
be
the
measured to
post,
that top, yeah.
like that. But it looks like he's measuring something a little bit different there, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, so the maximum height, it varies all throughout, but the maximum height is 7 feet 3 inches.
Okay. So I mean, so at the highest point of that fence, 73.5 inches right now? 7 feet 3 inches.
Yeah, so it's 1 foot and 3 inches above what's allowed.
Okay. So 75
Let me make sure I'm
inches.
saying that right. Yeah, 7 feet 3 inches.
84. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff?
It mentions in his letter, development regulations that allow fencing up to 96 inches. Can you give me any clarity on that?
Yeah, so that would be specifically if you have a pool, which on the site plan, he does notate that there's a pool. That's a potential future pool. There is currently no pool on the property. So if you have a pool, it could be up to that increased height, but it has to be within 10 feet of the edge of the pool.
Okay.
Okay. And so how far out then are we from what a potential pool in the future?
Well, I would direct that question to the applicants.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for staff?
Is there an intent to extend that same fence along the side property line, or is it just on the front?
Again, I would double check with the applicant, but it's my understanding that that is not the case because of the creek that runs along that side yard.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, we just look at that shed,
Right.
and maybe it's like that. And then the pool's here. No, that's sidewalks that kick the court.
Okay.
Anything further for
I
staff?
don't have anything further for staff, thank you.
No, sir, thank you.
All right. Are there anyone here from the public to speak on behalf?
Now open the public hearing.
Yeah, we'll open it, public hearing. Anybody here to speak on behalf of the application?
Do you want to make a motion to open the public hearing?
Yeah, you
Oh, so I have to approve?
Be the first
Do the
one
order?
yet? Do we usually make a motion?
I don't
You
think
you
so.
guys usually
Oh,
don't?
make
Just
a mo-
open it.
No.
We just
Oh, okay.
open it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you go ahead and state your name?
Name is Jason Murphy.
And did you want to make any comments in support of the petition, or are you just wanting to field questions?
I can start with fielding questions. I can tell you a little more about the design if you'd like to hear that, or whatever you'd like to
Yes.
hear. Yes, please. This fence, we chose a horizontal plank mainly because of the wind. You also note that the timbers are 6x6 timbers to withstand, because that particular area, I don't know what it is. I mean, we're on the lower part, but we get a constant wind through that area of our property compared to any other area. You can physically stand behind the fence and feel the air moving through. So we chose those, one, because they're thicker than a normal fence picket. And then aesthetically, we were trying to keep the fence level all the way across. Particularly when we looked at the pool regulation, you would see there would be this section in the middle of the fence that would run up to 8 feet. And instead, what we thought would be more aesthetically pleasing from the curb would just be a straight fence. The two large gates there also needed significant reinforcement because it is a 16-foot gate area that opens 8 feet across each gate in width, so combined total of 16.
Oh, here, got it, okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am, okay, thank you.
Originally, we didn't have any intent to put a fence along the side, but our son is getting stationed from Joint Base Lewis McChord in Seattle area to Fort Bliss in Texas, and we have to now take his two large dogs. One's a Great Dane mix, and the other's a lab, so we will end up having to do something to keep them contained, as there's no other part of our yard that is fenced in based on the size of the property. You guys voted earlier, or late last year, I should say, on the she shed that you see there in the background with the Tyvek on it. So that has been filled with my mother and father-in-law's junk to floor to ceiling, I would like to say, so, but it will keep them busy. My father-in-law, Sasha's father, does have dementia, so we're trying to, we feel eventually they're gonna have to come live with us. We're just not sure when that point will be, so we're also trying to make the best use of our property and that. Are there any other details I could possibly provide to help make an informed decision?
I have a bit of a question, going back to if you mentioned maybe taking that fence down the side, would that require a variance, a future variance if it's the same height going down the side?
If it's not included in this, it would.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be seeking above the 6-foot mark on there.
Okay.
What we were thinking of is more of a farm fence of just
I got you.
post and the 2x2 inch square metal fencing to,
Cattle fence?
yeah, to kind of keep the dogs in versus put all the money into a wood fence that faces a creek, and plus it would obstruct the view of the creek, which isn't exactly what I'm going for.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Yeah, until the dogs
Okay,
can go
yeah,
back, but
yeah.
that's
Now that I
6
see the
to
gates,
7
the
months.
Pool is actually gonna go in that spot right there.
Yeah, the
So-
above-ground pool, sir,
So you're planning for that in-ground pool? Or
above-ground pool.
above ground?
Yep.
Okay, and then at that point, will you do a safety fencing then as well, or how is that gonna work out for you in the future?
Right, so that's the other reason we would probably have to put that fencing along the creek, is you can't just walk into the pool, even though it's kind of hard to walk in an above-ground pool, but apparently we would have it that way, so, yes, it would be fenced, that whole area would end up being fenced in then.
Okay. That's really all I have at the moment, I think.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Just, is it 75 inches all the way across? Or it looks like you've got some degradation or dropping, the ground drops away, and it's taller at the end, and it kind of gives me that impression when you use that photo.
Yes, sir,
There.
so the part next to the house that's on the concrete is just under 6 feet. It's, I think, and it also depends on if you're measuring the finial or you're measuring, the little decorative things that went on top of the post.
Yes,
So the city is considering that part of the overall height of the fence. So
I think it is, yeah.
the finial, we are under 6 feet at the house, and then to the top of the finial at the creek end is that additional 15 inches.
7 feet 3, yeah, okay, thank you.
Are those gates mainly just for access to the yard? Is that what's gonna be there?
Mainly for lawn equipment, because the majority of the property, as you saw on the
It's a
site.
small piece of property. I think a push mower would work.
I'm not, it's not the grass, it's the picking up of the leaves. Those pin oaks are
Yeah.
shedders.
It's a little bigger than your neighbors, though.
I don't have anything more with this.
Sure, nor do I, sir.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak on behalf of your application?
No.
And I don't see anyone here to speak against it. Am I required to read this entire preamble here and explanation, or can we just jump right into the questions?
First, you have to close the public hearing,
Well, so we'll close the public hearing, there being no one else here to speak.
and then,
I think we could just go through them one by one.
start at number one.
Yeah.
Piece of banana.
So the applicant, for us to approve this, the applicant must show that his property was acquired in good faith and where by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of this specific piece of property at the time of the effective date of the zoning ordinance, or where by reason of exceptional topographical conditions or other extraordinary or exceptional circumstances, that the strict application of the terms of the development regulations of the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, actually prohibits the use of his property in a manner similar to that of other property in the zoning district where it is located. A request for variance may be granted upon the finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition, and the findings shall be entered on the record. The first condition, that the variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district, and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. And members will either agree with that or disagree. And we'll start with Ms. Kim.
I agree. I think we've got some topographical issues here, and so I would agree.
I agree as well.
I'll agree.
I agree. I agree.
That the granting of the permit for the variance will not adversely affect the rights of the adjacent property owners or residents. We'll go back the other direction this time.
I agree. I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
Agree?
That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application. Ms. Cameron?
Having a little bit of an issue with this one. I don't, I'm a disagree.
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
I disagree.
That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I agree.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree.
Agree?
That the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Agree?
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
I agree.
So all of the conditions being required to have been met, item C, there were 3 in disagreement, so that matter has, so the application has to be denied.
Correct.
And we don't need to get to special conditions.
Correct.
Is there any other business to be taken up?
There is no other business tonight.
Anyone you guys?
Oh, yeah, and we don't have any applications for the next meeting, so next month there will be no meeting.
All right, we have a motion to close the meeting.
Sure, may I offer a motion
Yeah.
to close the meeting, please?
Yes, yes, you may.
Then I so offer.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, meeting's closed.
Thanks for sharing. Not a problem.
I was gonna have you write down some instructions.
I'll send
Oh, yeah.
to your parents.
Don't need any, you got it.
Raised
Put
anybody.
the end of the line.
I
You
did.
know, my mama beat me right.
I think they did it to me when I did it too.
That's pretty
Now
much
my
it.
time comes. I actually just watch you, listen to you, and I write it down.
There you go.
So I sound.
You kind of really just work through the agenda, more or less.